This is Farm Journal's Annalisa Giannini here with Chris Barron, Ask a Margins expert on AgWeb. Chris, at this time of year, farmers are going into the field to plant. There's a lot of things on farmers' minds. So if there was 3 things that a farmer could do or pay attention to know that they have their risk management basics covered, what would those be?
Well, I think there's, as you said, there's probably 3 key things, and the first one would probably be just understanding your crop condition. We all hear crop conditions, as a general rule, but what are your crop conditions on your specific farm? So spending a little time doing some stand counts, going out and really looking at your crop and understanding that, how are things emerging, what you doing and what are your plans for herbicide control. Also your fertilizer, are you doing some additional nitrogen, those kinds of things. And just kind of really honing in on the agronomic. I think that would be the first part, so understanding the agronomics. The next part, I think, would probably be really understanding your costs. As you're working through that agronomic stuff, you're thinking about your additional nitrogen that you may be applying, where your herbicide costs are really coming in at versus what maybe some prepay things were. So you can kind of get a real good handle on what your seed cost was, your fertilizer, your herbicides. And some of those things you can really hone down and get some specific costs. And as you get those costs down, then you can really have a good feeling about, okay, here are the dollars that I've got laid out here. Then the third thing, after you understand exactly where your dollars and cents are at, you can look at it and you can say, okay, now how does this relate to the market? And start to tie that into a margin and say, okay, now here are my costs, here's what the market's offering me. Is this acceptable or isn't it? You can establish some goals and say, okay, it's not quite there where I need it to be. If corn was, say, for example, $5.50, I'd be willing to sell some. Okay, then how much would you sell? And you're going to set a goal, you want to set a specific goal. I would sell 10%, I would sell 20%. Well, how much is 20%? How much is 10%? Again, back to the first thing I just talked about the agronomy piece. If you know your crop condition, you can start to assess the potential yield that you may have for your specific operation, especially as that crop grows. And so you can keep honing those numbers as the crop condition changes as you go through the cropping season. And so it's understanding your agronomics, knowing your costs, and then establishing your market opportunities and then taking advantage of those when you have the time.
Great, thank you so much.